Hello and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show. Today we're going to do a story with a minibus, Jason the Egg and Steve, Nanny Plumb, Balthazar Bratt's Sonic Keytar and the Little Kingdom. Yes. Okay, so here we go. One day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go for a walk in the countryside. It was a beautiful day. Birds were singing, the sun was shining, everything was glorious. And then something very, very peculiar happened. They sat down on the ground to have a picnic and suddenly noticed right next to them there was a teeny tiny weeny castle. What? Aunty Lisa couldn't believe her eyes, and nor frankly could Aleksander and Kristoffer. And they looked and they looked and they thought, surely this is just a toy castle that some little kid has left out here by mistake. And they would have continued thinking that until the moment when Nanny Plumb walked out of the front door. Or rather, the castle gates. And Aunty Lisa went, it's Nanny Plumb! I love Nanny Plumb. She's brilliant. She's the most sarcastic character of all. Aleksander and Kristoffer went, whoa, hi, Nanny Plumb. Nanny Plumb went, hello, how do you know my name? Aunty Lisa said, well, actually, Nanny Plumb, you're quite famous, didn't you know? She hadn't got a clue that she was part of a hit TV series for kids. Nanny Plumb was over the moon. And she said, but you mustn't tell any other big people about us, okay? Aunty Lisa said, okay. Mum's the word. We won't tell anybody. Hey, so what are you doing today, Nanny Plumb? Nanny Plumb said, well, I've got to run some errands for the king. And then Ben and Holly want to go for a picnic. So we're probably going to do that. Aunty Lisa said, well, we're already having a picnic. Why don't you join us? Nanny Plumb said, okay. So then Nanny Plumb and Ben and Holly all joined Aunty Lisa and Kristoffer and Aleksander on their picnic rug for a picnic. Aunty Lisa said, wow, this is the best day ever. Hey, Nanny Plumb, have you got that magic picnic basket? And Nanny Plumb said, of course. Why would I have a picnic without the magic picnic basket? It was very exciting for Aunty Lisa. Everything was going brilliantly. She said, hey, Nanny Plumb, do you think you could ask for some jelly? And Nanny Plumb said, Aunty Lisa, I expect you already know that when we ask for jelly, we always end up with a jelly flood. Aunty Lisa said, oh, fine, we won't ask for jelly this time. What about a little bit of ice cream? Nanny Plumb magicked up some ice cream for everybody. Unfortunately, Aunty Lisa's ice cream was only this big because it was a fairy-sized ice cream, and same as Aleksander and Kristoffer, so only had a teeny tiny weeny ice cream. But they were grateful nonetheless because it was a very delicious ice cream. Now you would think that this was already a pretty exciting day. But then they heard something in the distance and it went and everybody fell over, and the fairies and elf, Ben obviously, went flying off into the distance and bounced off of a nearby tree. Everyone went, what was that horrible noise? Aunty Lisa said, oh no. Aleksander said, oh no. Kristoffer said, oh no. We know what that horrible noise is. That's Balthazar Bratt's Sonic Keytar. bet he's out there somewhere causing trouble again. Well, wasn't long before they could see Balthazar Bratt on top of the hill, playing as loud as he possibly could and rocking out to loads of 80s tunes. Like, of course, bad, but also ones by Madonna and stuff like that. It was ruining what had been a beautiful, relaxing, sunny day out having a picnic with Nanny Plumb, Ben and Holly. Aleksander and Kristoffer ran over to where Ben, Holly and Nanny Plumb had crashed into the tree and scooped them up. They said, "Are you okay?" Nanny Plumb said, "Oh, yes, but my ears are ringing. Can you stop that horrible noise?" Aunty Lisa looked at Aleksander and Kristoffer and said, "Come on then, let's see if we can get Balthazar Bratt to disappear off somewhere else to play his Sonic Keytar. It's too dangerous around here." Nanny Plumb said, but, do not tell him that we live here, okay?" Aunty Lisa said, "Zoop, we won't mention that at all. Don't worry, Nanny Plumb." So, Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa started creeping up very carefully, because it's a very dangerous thing, the Sonic Keytar, to where Balthazar Bratt was playing his Sonic Keytar. And they looked at him in the distance and they went, "How are we going to stop him? This is a real troublesome thing. It's not even like it's plugged in. It seems to be battery powered. Maybe we need a distraction." Just as they were thinking this, another strange thing happened, which doesn't normally happen. And it was this. Along the road that was nearby, there came a minibus. That wasn't the strange part. Inside the minibus, they found were Jason the Egg and Steve. Aleksander said, "Oh my goodness, it's Jason the Egg and Steve from Minecraft. This is the best day ever." Aunty Lisa said, "Jason the Egg? Oh no, not Jason the Egg. He's so annoying though." Aleksander said, "No, he's funny, Aunty Lisa. He's really funny." She said, "Okay, fine." Anyway, as it happened, the minibus stopped to ask directions. And Steve jumped out all square. And Jason the Egg said, "Hello, how are you?" Aleksander said, "Hey, Jason, how are you?" Jason said, "I'm okay. I have one eye bigger than the other. Have you noticed? It's a bit strange." Aunty Lisa said, "Yeah, we noticed actually, Jason. But anyway, how are you?" Jason was fine. And she said, "How are you, Steve?" And Steve said, "I'm okay. We're a bit lost. We were in Minecraft and then the world changed into this weird curvy place. I've never seen anything like it. I tried to bash stuff and it didn't just fall into pieces into nice neat cubes. It just smushed." Aunty Lee said, "Well, it's because you're in the real world, Steve." Steve said, "What's the real world? Minecraft is the real world." Aunty Lee said, No. You're in the real world now, Steve." Steve went, "Oh. Okay then, whatever you say. What do we do now?" Aunty Lee said, "Well, that is a pickle. I can see why you might want to get back to Minecraft where you can just bash stuff and it turns into cubes. It's also untidy here by comparison." Jason Yank said, "Oh, God, you guys, what is that horrible noise?" Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer looked at each other and went, "That's Balthazar Bratt, and he's playing his Sonic Keytar as loud as he can on top of that hill over there. Can you see him?" Jason Egg went, "Oh my God, you gotta stop him!" But Jason Egg doesn't have any arms to cover his ears. So, can't even stop the sound in my head. Somebody make it stop." Steve put his little square arms over Jason Egg's ears where they would be. Jason Egg said, "Thanks, mate. You're a good pal." So, having all been introduced, they said, "Hey, Aunty Lisa, would you guys like to ride on our minibus? And we'll go and tell that Balthazar Bratt to shut up." And Aunty Lisa said, well, I guess we do know you pretty well, so are you a good driver, Steve? Steve went, of course I'm a good driver. I crash into things all the time and smash them up. Aunty Lisa said, I'll drive. So, Aunty Lisa drove the minibus with everybody in the back. There was Aleksander, Kristoffer, Jason the Egg, and Steve. And they drove up and down and up to the top of the hill, where Balthazar Bratt's music was... Balthazar Bratt was rocking out. The minibus nearly fell over. Everybody climbed out like this. Aunty Lisa said, excuse me, Balthazar Bratt, excuse me. Balthazar Bratt went, what? And Aunty Lisa said, would you mind turning the volume down a little bit? It's too noisy, Balthazar. And he said, I don't care. I'm Balthazar Bratt, and I am the king of this hill. See? You all have to do everything I say. And Aunty Lisa said, I don't think you're the king of this hill. I'm not even sure you can be the king of a hill. It's just a hill. It's a hill, Balthazar. And you've really upset everybody here because it's too noisy, okay? And we fell over while we were having our picnic when you started up. That was too mean of you. And you should go play somewhere, maybe, well, just anywhere else, actually. Balthazar said, well, you don't know what my master plan is. And Aunty Lisa said, I don't want to know what your master plan is. You just turn off that music right now, young man. And he said, well, at least you called me young. And Aunty Lisa said, ish. Anyway, Balthazar Bratt was not going to be told. He turned up the music to 11. And he went, and everybody and the minibus fell over. Little square birds started spinning around Steve and Jason the Egg's heads because they bashed them. Everyone said, oh man, we've got to stop that Balthazar Bratt. He is too noisy. So they got back in the minibus once they'd turned it the right way up and drove all the way back to where they had their picnic spot. Waiting for them there, of course, was Nanny Plumb and Ben and Holly. And Aunty Lisa said, hey, do you mind if we introduce you to two of our friends? And Nanny Plumb said, well, what kind of friends are they? Are they magical? And Aunty Lisa said, yeah, they're kind of a bit magical. They've come out of a computer. We're not entirely sure how we're going to get them back. Nanny Plumb said, that should be okay then. Introduce them. So, Aunty Lisa introduced Jason the Egg and Steve to Nanny Plumb and Ben and Holly, who all thought it was hilarious that Jason the Egg was an egg and had no arms or legs, but could still bounce around. And they found it very strange that Steve was square all over in every single way. They were amazed, in fact. Well, Steve and Jason the Egg thought that everybody else was far too curvy, and it was very peculiar. But anyway, everyone got on famously. Apart from, of course, there was still the horrific noise of Balthazar Bratt. Aunty Lisa explained to Nanny Plumb that Balthazar Bratt had refused to turn his music down. Nanny Plumb said, well, that is very naughty. And Aunty Lisa explained that he thought that he was the king of the hill. Well, as luck would have it, the king of the little kingdom, Holly's dad, was listening. And he said, what is this? He thinks he's the king? Right, we will tell him. And Aunty Lisa said, but don't tell him who you are or where you are, because that could end very, 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 very badly. Remember? Nanny Plumb said, yes, but he's going to drive everybody away, and before long he really will be the king of his castle, or, his hill. I mean, he could build his own castle there, I guess. If he's so noisy, no one else will want to live nearby. He'll just have it all to himself. Aleksander and Kristoffer, Aunty Lisa, Steve and Jason the Egg all had a think. And then they came up with a genius idea. They did this. Wait for it. they got the magic picnic hamper. And they said, right, what we've got to do is we've got to fly the magic picnic hamper over to where he is playing his music. Okay, do you think we can do that? Well, Nanny Plumb thought that sounded a bit of a strange idea, but she was going to go along with it. So, obviously Holly can fly and so can Nanny Plumb. But Ben and Aleksander and Kristoffer cannot fly. And to be fair, nor can Jason, Yeg or Steve. But Jason, Yeg and Steve were like, we'll just sit this one out. And along came Goustov, the ladybird, and he had a couple of his friends. So actually it turned out that everybody could fly over to where Balthazar Bratt was playing his guitar. And they flew over carrying the picnic basket. And then they went 1, 2, 3, and they dropped the picnic basket. And as they dropped it, Nanny Plumb and Ben and Holly and Aleksander and Kristoffer and Jason and Steve all said together, more jelly! Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of jelly, please! And out of the magic picnic basket came the most enormous jelly flood. Balthazar Bratt and his Sonic Keytar were stuck in jelly. And it flowed all the way back down the hill with Balthazar Bratt losing his Sonic Keytar. It was all clogged up with jelly. That thing was not going to play forever again. And he flooded him all the way down and down and down the hill and into a bush where he got all tangled up and his hair was ruined, covered in jelly. His Sonic Keytar was broken, also covered in jelly. And Aunty Lisa said, well, that's that then. No more horrible Sonic Keytar playing. And now we've got loads of jelly. So they all scooped up a little bit of jelly and flew back to their picnic place where they had their picnic ready for action. And Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer, Nanny Plumb, Ben, Holly, and now King and the Queen came out. And obviously Goustov and his other ladybird friends that given them a lift all had, and Jason and Steve, all had a delicious picnic with jelly for pudding. And it was the best day out ever. And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.